initiative called NLTI for the last almost 3 years. So this year, we have successfully run this program for NLSAT 2025. We have mentored over 400 students this year. And as soon as the paper got over, I was with a lot of students who just appeared for the exam, and their initial reactions were that the paper was slightly easier than last year, that they were able to manage their time well, and that most of the topics, most of the questions that came in the paper were along the expected lines, and that there was nothing out of the box or nothing that they could not foresee that came in the exam. So we'll go over the three most important components of this exam in this session. We'll be breaking down what was asked in the paper and what was the difficulty level of the paper, and how would that difficulty level affect the cutoff, and what is the expected cutoff for this year. We'll also talk about the result date, and we'll give you some interesting insights from the NLTI team's end. So moving on to the part A of this paper, 8 passages were asked, as has been the tradition for the past 3 years. There was nothing extraordinary. There was nothing out of the blue that was asked. These were the 8 passages that were asked. One was related to the book written by Kanan Gill, Acts of God. One was this topic could be foreseen by every student, that something would come relating to artificial intelligence. We had also given an interesting insight to all the NLTI students that one of the panel members who set the NLSAT paper is an AI enthusiast. So we were definitely expecting something or the other relating to artificial intelligence, either in part A or part B. The third topic was also quite interesting, whether elections represent democracy or not. Fourth topic was also very generic, about public interest litigations in the Supreme Court. Fifth, one of the topics was relating to Pakistani biryani. That was something interesting, and I don't think a lot of people could have foreseen that during these times something related to Pakistani biryani would come in the paper. A topic that I personally liked a lot was relating to competitive exams and their regulation. The passage talked about that all these training institutes uh, are not very successful in their endeavors, and they are not creative. But I find this ironic because a lot of questions that came in the exam were predicted by NLTI eventually, and one passage, and I'll shed more light on that. One passage was directly asked in the paper that we had asked in one of our previous mocks. One of the topics was Ranveer Allahabadi controversy. This is also something that one could expect, given that there's the curtailment of freedom of speech on the rise in the country right now. One could expect that NLS would give a passage on this topic, and then one was related to women in sports. Some, again, very generic, nothing that one could not foresee coming in the exam. Then we'll come to part B. So this is an interesting topic. The first topic that was asked, the question was related to tax on caramelized popcorn. I take this opportunity to tell you two things. Firstly, one of the panel members, again, who said the NLSAT paper, is my professor right now in the National Law School, and she's a tax professor. So I told this to all NLTI enrolled students, that you can definitely expect something or the other relating to tax. I was foreseeing that something related to gig workers would come, that because that was contemporary. One of the students last night at 10:30 asked the exact topic, that how to flesh out an argument relating to tax on caramelized popcorn. So this was really exciting for us, that yesterday only at 10:30 p.m. a student asked whether this topic is important or not, and how do we eventually write. And today at 10 a.m. in the morning, this question was eventually asked. So a lot of NLTI students did actually read upon how do we flesh out an argument on tax on caramelized popcorn. So I'll tell you a little brief. Pre-packed, ready-to-eat popcorns are usually taxed at 12%, but Nirmala Sitharaman recently came out with this announcement that caramelized popcorn would be taxed at 18%. So there is this controversy that what makes these popcorn different from other popcorn, and that is the sugar content. So you had to argue whether this is fair or not. Then there was a question about car racing track, something related to negligence. Then there was a public international law question. There was a treaty between two countries, and one country was prosecuting the national law of another country on mere prosecution. Then there was something related to data breach, privacy breach by a bank for posting a pic of customer's daughter in public. This is a topic that is very relevant. Again, everyone is talking about privacy in India, and how should that privacy extend to the digital sphere. Fifth topic was, I think, a more core concept of legal reasoning, that is vicarious liability. Even though NLS says that they don't expect you to know all these concepts of legal reasoning like negligence, like defamation or vicarious liability. We have seen for the past 3 years that the questions are definitely related to these topics, and even though they don't name that you have to apply this topic of vicarious liability, they usually expect you to know at least something about that. So there was this question of vicarious liability. Then coming to the essay topic. So essay topics were again very interesting, and again I would say generic, nothing that one could not foresee. There's language issue on the rise. Every state is coming up with their own language issue, and they are saying that they'll do away with Hindi, the use of Hindi in their language, especially in the southern states like Telangana or Kerala or Karnataka. The first topic was banning social media for minors. This is also very contemporary topic because we have seen how social media can adversely affect minors and their growth in early ages specifically. And then second topic was quite interesting. This is a topic that not many would have foreseen, but again, this is also in the news lately, relating to Anganwadi workers, relating to Asha workers, and relating to rights of home housewives and homemakers. So again, this topic was also very interesting, whether women should be compensated for domestic work. I would say all these topics were covered in the NLTI mocks in one way or the other, even if the names were different or even if the facts were different. We are sure that we definitely covered all these concepts like negligence, public international law, tax tax issues, vicarious liability. Definitely spent a lot of time on AI, and that was asked in part A. We were expecting it to be asked in part B, but it was asked in one way or the other. So we are happy with what the questions were asked. Nothing that NLTS students had not prepared for, nothing that we had not taught them, or nothing that came out of the material that we had provided all our students. So that was a good thing to see. I'll show you some NLTI insights that have been prepared by the team at NLTI. So we do feel that NLSAT 2025 was a bit easier compared to NLSAT 2024. It might not have been easier per se, but because the level of preparation of students was a bit more compared to last year, because every year there are a lot of new content that is being made. There are not a lot of new classes that are being taken. So the preparation level of students was definitely a bit better this year. That is why students found this paper a bit easier compared to last year's paper. However, we must say that paper was relatively lengthy. Part A passages, even though the language was simple, were a bit lengthy, and there were some important nuances that had to be paid attention to, specifically in Part B also. So, if you remember the privacy breach question, a lot of students didn't understand whose breach of privacy is being talked about, whether it is the fathers or it is the daughters. So, this is a nuance that you had to catch upon. So, some nuances were there in the paper that you had to pay attention to. There were no curveballs per se. Paper was on the expected lines. We knew that the pattern has changed a bit. That instead of 6 questions, now there will be 5 questions. So paper was along the similar lines. There were 8 passages. There were 5 part B questions and 3 essay questions that you had to choose from. So nothing extraordinary, nothing different. And the paper was on the expected line. There is one question: where and when can I find the question paper? We are coming to that. Don't worry. And one thing we'd like to definitely say is that NLTI material was more than sufficient. I'll show you some reviews of our students, some initial thoughts that they had post the conclusion of the exam. And what I am hearing is that NLTI material, NLTI classes, specifically the mocks that we had provided them, was more than sufficient for preparing and acing this paper this year. Coming to the thing that you are actively waiting for, what is the expected cutoff? So let me tell you, we are not making these figures out of the air. These are backed by figures, these are backed by data, and this is something that we're not making up on our own. So let me tell you a little background why we are thinking that the cutoff for part A should be around 55 and cutoff for part B should be around 37 to 40. When I say cutoff for part A, I am talking about general non-Karnataka general male. So if you if you have a Karnataka domicile, or if you have a reservation for women, PWD, then these cutoffs don't apply to you. Those cutoffs are extremely complicated, and it was difficult for us to wrap our heads around those cutoffs right now, given the limited time we had to present this analysis. So when I talk about part A cutoff around 55, that is for non-Karnataka general male. And why am I saying this? Because last year the cutoff, and also specifically important to note that when I talk about cutoff, this means that if you are scoring above 55, then your part B will be checked. And if you are scoring above 50, if you are scoring less than 55, then as a non-Karnataka general male, there are chances that your Part B might not be evaluated. So this is the meaning of cutoff here. So why am I saying 55 should be the cutoff this year? So last year, the cutoff for Part A was around 52. That means that if you are a non-Karnataka general male and had scored 52 marks in Part A, your Part B was evaluated. The rank around the score of 52 last year was 180 to 190. Don't think that because there are 120 seats, so 600, so rank up to 600 will be evaluated. That is not the case. General the vertical and horizontal reservations apply across categories, and even for the cutoffs determined for evaluation of Part B. So last year around AIR 190 was the last rank for which Part B was evaluated, and the score was around 52. So this year the paper was slightly easier. The preparation level of students was slightly better. So this year we are expecting the cutoff to increase by a couple of marks and should be around 55. The safe score will definitely be above 55 if you are scoring around 58, 59, 60, and we definitely know a lot of students at NLTI who are hitting this range. So if you are scoring around 60, that is a very safe score. You can sleep peacefully at night. But if you are scoring around 55 to 56, we are highly optimistic that you are clearing the cutoff for Part A and your Part B will definitely be evaluated. So to conclude in one line, around 55 is the cutoff that we are looking at for Part A. Two reasons for that: the paper was slightly easier, and the preparation level of students was slightly better this year. And for Part B, we are looking at a cutoff for 37 to 30, 37 to 40. This is also not coming out of air. We are backing this in solid data. Last year, the cutoff for Part B was around 37. So a person who scored 52 in Part A and 37 in Part B eventually made it to NLS, even though they did not make it to NLS in the first list. They eventually did make it to NLS when the waiting list was clear. So last year, the cutoff for Part A was 52 and for Part B around 37. Again, Part A cutoff will increase to around 55 this year, but Part B will more or less stay constant because there was the level of difficulty remained similar to that of last year. So we are expecting again a cutoff around 37 to 40 in Part B. But again, this will depend a lot on the marking scheme that the professors at NLS will follow. If there is any drastic change in the marking scheme that they will follow this year, then we can expect the cutoff to go down or go high accordingly. But for now, if everything remains constant as last year, then we are expecting the cutoff to be around 37 to 40 for Part B. So to conclude, if you are scoring around 90, 92 overall, then you are safe right now, and we are we are optimistic that you will get in if you are scoring around 90 to 95 as per as and when the answer key comes out. So the result date, this is also that I have been asked a lot constantly. So provisional answer key will be out by tonight or tomorrow. This is the general trend that they have been following, that even just by evening or by night, the answer key, the master question booklet and the provisional answer key will be out. Two important things here to note: the answer key is merely provisional. You will be invited to challenge any answer that you feel is incorrect. And for example, if NLSS is saying that option D should be the correct option, but if you are saying that option B should be the correct option, then they will invite you to challenge the option, but you'll have to pay a reasonable sum. And if your objection is accepted, then the challenge fee is also refunded. So this will be a provisional answer key that will come out. So don't worry if you feel that some of the answers are wrong. If you challenge them and if they get accepted, your challenge fee will be refunded and the answer key will also be changed in the final answer key. And one more thing to note is that the question paper that will come out will be the master question booklet. It will be the master set, and it will not be the separate different series that you got today in the paper, series A, series B, series C. So one thing to note, while you are checking your OMR sheet, while you are comparing your OMR sheet with the answer key, don't panic if all your answers are incorrect, because most probably you must be checking with the wrong set, or you must not be keeping in mind that what you are checking from is from the master question booklet and the answers don't necessarily relate to the set that you had. So you'll have to do a little bit of hard work. You'll have to map the questions in the master booklet with the questions in your respective set and then check your answers. So that is it. Provisional answer key will be out by tonight or tomorrow, and we are expecting the result to be out by 10th of June. This is also very. We have done analysis behind this. So last year, paper was held around 20th of April, if I'm not wrong, 18th or 20th of April, and the result was announced around 4th of June. So this year, paper has happened a week later, and accordingly, the result will also be announced somewhere around 10th of June. All those who are wondering when the session will start, so after 10th of June, you will be invited. Your All India ranks will be visible on your portals, and you will be invited for an admission. After you pay your fees and everything, the session will start on first of July. So the session date is out. If you get selected and if you get into NLS, your first class will be held on 1st of July. If there are any questions, definitely feel free to write in the comment section right now. So with a very proud, this is a very proud moment for us, and I'm very delighted to announce that NLTI is not just talking, but actions are speaking louder than words for us. So this year, NLTI has created history. This has never happened before, either in CLAT or in NLSAT or any other competitive exam in the law field, especially. That one of the passages that was asked today in the paper regarding Ranveer Alabadia, we had given the direct passage in our NLTI mock 15 that was released around a month earlier. This is not a mere coincidence. This goes on to prove that NLTI's content is very thoughtful. We bring in insights that are second to none. Being students at the National Law School Bangalore, we know what topics the professors will select while setting in the paper and what topics are most relevant and closest to what NLSAT will ask. So this is not a mere coincidence. This is a very proud moment for us that the same passage that we gave in NLTI Mock 15 was asked. All in all, the entire passage was asked in NLSAT 2025. A lot of students, when they approached me as soon as the result was over, when I was waiting to hear their reactions, their first reaction was, "Thank you, Bhaiya. We didn't even have to spend 2 minutes on reading this passage because we had so recently read this passage and attempted questions based on that." So they did save a lot of time when it came to this passage specifically, because the entire passage we had given in one of the NLTI mocks, and the same was asked in NLSAT 2025 today. These are some of the reviews that we got, and we are happy with the performance of all the NLTI students. They're extremely happy with all the content that we provided, the guidance that we have been providing for last 1 year, the evaluation and feedback that we provide. So we evaluate each and every answer that they write based on the NLTI mocks. We evaluate their answers. We not just evaluate their answers, but also give them detailed feedback on how they can improve. We do a SWOT analysis that this is the strength of your answer, this is the weakness of your answer, and this is the opportunity and the way you can improve your answers going forward. So this is unique to us. No other coaching institute or no other mentorship program for NLSAT is doing what we are doing when it comes to part B, that we evaluate each and every answer and give a detailed feedback. No other coaching is doing this, and we are extremely proud that we have been continuing this year. We evaluated more than 3,000 sheets this year, and students who appeared for more than 10 to 15 marks, they definitely know how helpful the feedback and the evaluation was when it came to writing their final answers today. So that's it. That is it from this session. We hope you liked our analysis. If you have any more doubts, feel free to drop in the comment section. We are launching our course for CLAC for NLSAT 2026 very shortly. If you see, these are our results for NLSAT 2024. We got 6 ranks out of top 10 in NLSAT 2024, including AR 1, 2, 4, 5, 8, and many more. So this year we are expecting to replicate the same results, and let me tell you, it will not be difficult to digest that if all the students who clear NLSAT this year are from the National Law Training Institute, especially if we talk about the non-reservation categories. If we talk about those 30 to 40 seats that are available in NLS, that will not be a difficult thing to digest if all students are from the National Law Training Institute. This is something that we are extremely proud of, and if you like this analysis and if you believe that NLTI can make a difference in your preparation, feel free to visit our website chatnlti.com or contact our counselors, and we'll be more than happy to guide you for NLSAT 2026. All our courses are very reasonable. I think they are the most affordable in the market, given all the content and resources we provide. So you should definitely consider enrolling with us for NLSAT 2026, especially after the amazing results that we are predicting for NLSAT 2025. So that is it from this analysis session. We hope you liked what we brought to the table in this session, and you'll continue supporting us in this endeavor of providing mentorship to NLSAT aspirants and increasing accessibility for this exam. Thank you so much.